بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعجل فرجهم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام والرحمة والإكرام.
So it's been too long now that this Shamsi in Speaker's Corner has been going around trying to bully the Shia. And I feel like he only chooses to speak with Shia that he feels he can get an upper hand on. For example, the time when you came to Speaker's Corner, he used the argument that he doesn't debate with the people of Bid'ah. Very selective in choosing who he debates. And what he does is every time he speaks to a Shia, he tells them to prove that to follow the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam from the Quran, and he believes that he has a clear verse which says about following the Sahaba from the Quran. So I was just wondering if you could shed some light on this and give us the final cut and answer a few questions, inshallah.
Inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. So, this type of argument, we need to dissect it in a few points. And then put a premise and then start to build upon that, inshallah, to get an understanding. Point one, the first point, is, so if I was to say to you, so I'm sitting in front of Shamsi, although he didn't want to discuss with me because apparently I'm from the people of innovation, but the other Shi'as are not, for whatever reason. If I come and I'm like, you know what, my memories hurt me a bit. I can't remember any verses, but I've got some sahih, mutawatir, ahadith found in your books that are reliable and accepted by your ulama, and the chains have all been narrated to us through thuqat. What's he going to do then? Reject it? Or what's he going to do? You see, you can't play that game. That game cannot happen, because the Quran and Sunnah is Islam. You can't separate the two. You're incapable of separating the two. Al-Bahbahari, here in his book, Sharh al-Sunnah, page 59, he says, اعلموا أن الإسلام هو السنة والسنة هي الإسلام ولا يقوم أحدهما إلا بالآخر. No, he says, that Islam is the Sunnah and the Sunnah is Islam. They will not rise, so they will not be built upon. Nothing can be built upon if it's not them two together. Islam is Sunnah and the Sunnah is Islam. Why is he playing that game now? Now, as in, like, you see, because I know exactly what they're going to do. That's why I never play them gimmicks with these street polemicists. A new term now, street polemics. You know why? Because if you go to an actual Sunni scholar that is well studied, he will never bring that stupid argument, because he knows every verse has a specific type of istidlal. Because you tell them, أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولو الأمر منكم. No, where's it say Ahlul Bayt? Not clear cut. Okay. You bring them another. No, where does it say Imam Ali? Okay, I'll turn it round. Show me a clear cut verse that says you must follow Abu Bakr. He'll try to bring you one or two verses. You're like, no, but it doesn't say Abu Bakr's name. Sorry. No, not clear. He says, yeah, but there was ijma' from the Sahaba. Show it to me in the Quran. Show me the ijma' from the Quran. No, it's not in the Quran. Okay, so you have to refer back to the Sunnah, the Seerah, the books of Tariq to prove that. Yeah. Okay. So, what are you going to do then? Oh, but it makes you a kafir to deny and reject the caliphate of Abu Bakr. Yeah, it's in the Quran. No. Okay, what are you going to do? You know why? Because you can't separate the Quran from the Sunnah. The Sunnah guides to the Quran and the Quran guides to the Sunnah. Even further, Bin Baz, he has a quote where he says that if you bring someone a hadith, so a solitary report, Khabar al-Ahad, yeah? You bring them a solitary report and you prove that it goes back to the Prophet. So Sahih al-Sanad comes from a mu'tabar source, a trustworthy source, a reliable source. You reject, he says you become a kafir if it's been proven to you. Oh, okay. Did you know that they are incapable of proving all of their aqeedah and tawheed from the Quran? Why? Because there are certain sifat of Allah that they must believe in that's not found in the Quran. For example, one of them is that Allah jogs. Allah jogs.
No.
Yeah, I don't jog. Yeah. I don't jog, but Allah jogs. So, but it's not found in the Quran. No. Okay. But you have to believe in it. Yes. Okay. Aqidat al-Wasitiyah by Ibn Taymiyyah. The book of Aqidah by Ibn Taymiyyah. Is everything in there from the Quran only? No. Okay. So what? Are you going against your own principles now? Even Al-Albani, there's a small booklet where he talks about it. That the solitary reports, if you reject it, if my memory serves me right, he says you become a mubtadi', an innovator. Even more, here, Al-Bahbahari, again in Sharh al-Sunnah, page 113. He says, if you hear a man and you bring him an athar, a report, and he doesn't want it, and he wants a Quranic verse, then no, there is no doubt that he is a man that is upon zandaqah. Even more, do you know what Al-Dhahabi says in his book? He says that only the Khawarij are the ones who say the Quran is sufficient for us. He says it in his book, Tadhkurat al-Huffaz. He says, I think it's in the second page, he says, only the Khawarij will say that the Quran is sufficient for us. So I don't know if he's trying to say that Umar ibn al-Khattab is a Khariji or not. So, Shamsi, what does he do? He talks against Sunnis that talk about rebelling against the unjust ruler and so on, right? He calls them Khawarij. Well, you have the attributes of a Kharij. You have the attributes of a Zindiq, actually. Not me saying it. Bahbahari. So, why is he bringing this type of argument? And that's why I never get involved when they start to do them dumb things. Because I just turn it round on them. Because they want a verse that says, Imam Ali or Ali bin Abi Talib is the Khalifa of Rasulullah. Who's ever said that there's a verse that's going to say that? Who's ever said that this is how actual academia in the Islamic world, this is how it works? And the verse that he brings itself is not a clear-cut verse. Not by Islamic terminology, so it's not ayah muhkamah. Or by just linguistically that, oh, it's a clear-cut verse. Showing you have to follow the Sahaba. Let me tell you why. He uses the verse in Surah At-Tawbah. Yeah? Verse 100. والسابقون الأولون من المهاجرين والأنصار والذين اتبعوهم بإحسان. So the foremost from the Muhajirin and Ansar and those who followed them in goodness. Allah is pleased with them and they are pleased with Allah. Jayyid. Who's the first and foremost? The first and foremost who killed each other, or the first and foremost who cursed each other or insulted each other or went to war against each other or differed in opinion? Who's the first and foremost? Do you know why he can't really answer it? Because you need to go back to the Quran, go back to the Sunnah, the Seerah, the books of Tariq. And even their own ulama disagree. They say, some of them say that it's the people of Badr. Some say that it's the companions, the ones who prayed to Al-Qiblatayn. Those who that were present at Bay'at al-Ridwan. Which one is it? They don't know. Or they can't give you a definite answer. One will say this, but then another grand scholar will say this, another grand scholar will say this. Actually, even the classical and earlier scholars, they differed on the definition of Sahabi. Who is even a Sahabi, by the way. Which, by the way, who said it? That definition is a hujjah upon me, and I have to believe in that definition. So the first and foremost, it's not clear cut. And by the way, ayah muhkama. What is the definition of ayah muhkama? Tell me the definition of it. Do you have a definition? He'll bring you a definition of one of his scholars, but then the other scholar will differ as well. Do you have one? No. Okay. When you prove the ayah muhkama means this, can you show me that is a hujjah upon me, that understanding, that definition is a hujjah upon me? Who said it? Why is it a hujjah upon me? Show me. He can't. So the first and foremost, you have to refer back to Seerah, Sunnah, Tariq, the books of Tariq. So what are you going to do then? What are you going to do then? Shi'a shut down. No, Shamsi shut down. You got shut down now. That's what's happening. So when he plays these games, don't let him play these games, ya Shi'a. Don't let him play these games. You see, what he wants to do is say, and I've heard him, he will say, oh no, it's a Quranic verse that needs no explanation. Oh, it needs as-sabiqun al-awwalun. What does it mean by as-sabiqun al-awwalun? Muhajirin and Ansar walladhina ittaba'un bi'ihsan. Okay, Jayyid. Let me show you now. It gives you a premise. وَالَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُونَ بِإِحْسَانٍ. That means they have to be upon goodness. And is it telling you to obey them completely? No Sunni will ever say that. They can't. They're incapable. You know why? Because they'll tell you. Some of their ulama, Albani has done it many times, by the way. Or they'll tell you, oh no, this Sahabi was wrong. And later on, the Prophet gave a different ruling and changed it. So the Sahaba differed. Aqaidiyan, fiqhiyan, sulukiyan, akhlaqiyan. They differed. So what are you going to do then? How are you going to follow them upon goodness? You'd have to define goodness to me. For example, a Sahabi that doesn't lie. Yeah? Okay, prove it to me. Prove to me that every single Sahabi did not lie. So he needs to define, first and foremost, he needs to define goodness. What is goodness? Is goodness following Abu Bakr and Umar? Definitely not. 100% no. This is my understanding of history. So what are you going to do then? Shi'a shut down? No, Shamsi shut down. That's what it is. You see, and that's why, from the essence of the question, it's wrong. It's built upon wrong foundations. You can't. So now, what is your proof that it is a complete mutlaq ayah that says you follow them in everything? Okay, so do you mean I should follow Aisha against the ruler? Because she fought against the ruler. Or some of the Sahaba that wanted to kill Uthman, or that killed Uthman. Or some of the Sahaba that disagreed upon a matter of fiqh, Zawaj al-Mut'a, or other matters. What are you going to do then? So what do you mean by follow them in goodness? They'll say to you, oh, goodness, that which is defined by the Quran and the established sunnah of the Prophet. Okay, well that's a bit circular, because who's narrating from the Prophet? The Sahaba. So what are you going to do then? How are you going to define to me goodness? And you know, the same, if they want to use that same argument, then the Quranis are correct in their argument. Prove to me where it says follow the Sunnah. They'll be like, yeah, it says follow the hikmah of the Prophet in the Quran. Nope, doesn't say Sunnah. No, doesn't say Sunnah. So like that, you haven't established the Sunnah either now. Yallah. What are you going to do now? You want to play that game? Let's play that game. Shi'a shut down. Shamsi shut down. What are you going to do then? Shuf al-Jahl? Are you seeing what I'm saying? What I'm saying to you? No one is saying that. No Shi'a is going to say to you, no Shi'a in his right state of mind is going to say to you, it says in the Quran that you must follow Ali bin Abi Talib, Hassan al-Mujtaba, Hussein. No one says that. No one says that. Every ayah has a specific istidlal. What is it guiding towards? And you prove it. Then like that, in one way or another, depending on your definition, you can prove that it's ayah muhkamah. This is not ayah muhkamah to follow the Sahaba. It's not a matter of hawa. It's not a matter of hawa. Where can you prove to me that I must follow the caliphate or believe in the caliphate of Abu Bakr? Where can you show me in the Quran, clearly by your understanding, the way that you put it to the Shi'as, all of the sifat of Allah that I'm supposed to believe in? He can't. He can't. What the most he can say to you is that the Quran guides towards the Sunnah. The Quran guides and tells you exactly what type of sifat Allah is accepted from him. Now, of course, in the Quran it says there's nothing like him. So if Allah is jogging, I don't know. I'm definitely not going to be like Allah because I'm, we're not the jogging type. So my point is this. You want to play them games? We can play them games. We can play them games. They have to believe in the Khulafa al-Rashidun al-Mahdiyun, right? The four. Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Imam Ali alayhi salam. Jayyid. Show me where I have to believe in it in the Quran. Show me. No, it's in the Sunnah. No, I want a clear-cut verse that I'm not going to believe in it. Yallah. Let's become Quranis now. Don't play that game. The sources of legislation is the Quran and Sunnah. And like Ibn Uthaymeen says, now I'm not narrating the words of Ibn Uthaymeen word by word, but he has a beautiful line. He says the Quran and Sunnah is like the two wings of a bird. If one of the wings is broken, then the bird falls. So he is saying Islam is built upon the Quran and Sunnah. One of them collapses, then the whole deen collapses. And they call themselves Ahl Sunnah. Allah yasa'adna. You're Ahl Sunnah or Ahl al-Athar? What Athar? What are you talking about? What Athar? When you bring your Athar, he does what the Zanadiqa would do, as Bahbahari says. It's addabu. Yani don't make me come to Speaker's Corner again, and then you're going to do that thing. Oh yeah, I'll show my back to the Rafida. Yeah, show your back to the Rafida, you got destroyed. Yeah, that's what happened to you. But then he wants to apply that principle, but he doesn't want to apply it to other Shi'as. Or what? Or other Shi'as that also believe in the caliphate of Imam Ali, and also believe in doing tabarri from the enemies of Ahlul Bayt. Those companions that you revere, they're not innovators. هذا غلط. ومنهج غلط. أساس السؤال غلط. The essence of the question is wrong. And this is why there is this problem when this street polemics happens. Because all they're trying to do is get one over the other. Wallah, I went there. It's like a dog world there. I felt like I walked into a zoo. Shouting, all of that. And then you have to start acting like them. Shamsi's friend, you know what he does? He was trying to talk to me, trying to prove to me that what's debating going to do, all of that. And then by the way, this was like 5 minutes, 10 minutes after he was debating a Christian. But anyway, he was like, yeah. He was speaking. I was like, oh, are you going to let me speak? You've been speaking for quite a while. I was trying to be respectful. So I started shouting over him. You shout, I shout. You're arrogant, I'm more arrogant. No Sunni will ever put his foot on top of a Shi'i. And wallah, thumma wallah, that insha'Allah, Allah gives me the opportunity. That's one of the legacies I want to leave. And by the time I die, you know how these days you hear, when, especially in Speaker's Corner, oh, Shi'a, Shi'a. No one cares. Yeah. Mud bath, ma a'rif shunu. You know, like how they try to say it. Okay. Shi'as hit themselves. Just lay it out like that. Mut'a. Yeah, like that, and they let it go. That's going to stop. I'm going to take you back to the times of Al-Mufid, Sharif Al-Murtada Al-Tusi, where when they say Shi'a, عندها أصول, adab, we will be respected, one way or another. Them days are over. Ayyam al-Khilafah are over. No one puts their foot on top of the follower and lover of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. Never. Never ever. Hasha lillah wa hasha li rasulihi. That we will ever allow any of them to put their foot on top of our heads. And know, ya Shi'a, that when you go to Speaker's Corner, do not go there if you are incapable of debating. If you don't have the attributes, characteristics of a debater, if you don't know the arguments, if you don't know your opponent. Because when you lose, even if you are someone that's not famous, you'll make us all look bad. It weakens everyone. Haram. Wallah, it's haram. We have riwayat where the Imam condemns certain companions. Not everyone should go and debate. Not everyone's Hisham bin al-Hakam. Please, brothers, sisters, please, there's rules and regulations. Our deen has rules and regulations. So we'll end it like this. It's not Shi'a shut down, Shamsi shut down. Now, don't bring me that stupid argument again. The final cut. Finished. Khalas. Full stop. هذا وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.